It's difficult for me to say I counseled people with PTSD but didn't have it, because I did and did not know it. I'm a retired military chaplain. I retired after 26 years of service. I served in 5 different war zones with every elite and special operations group America has, and 27 other nations, and working for NATO. One of the places I covered was Kaya, Kabul, Afghanistan International Airport. You couldn't travel in Kabul without being in convoy, and so I ordered up a convoy. I saw through the windshield that between the first Humvee and the second Humvee, separation began. When from the right, out of an alley, came a white Toyota Corolla and jammed himself between the first 2 Humvees and blew himself up. They had shaped the charge to go the wrong way. As a result, it blew the car apart in front of us, and we simply rolled through and rolled over them. Everybody had heard, and they kept coming up to me, "Thank God you're alive, thank God you're alive." I don't know, 22 people were killed in that, men, women, children. Do I thank God for I'm alive? I don't know. I don't know. I have never been able to come to terms with or resolve how and why human beings can do to each other what they do. I was in Morocco leading a group through a marketplace. We were there on an exercise, and I had about 50 kids in tow when we came around the corner and saw a crowd, and a guy was yelling and screaming at this woman in front of him. And then he pulled out a knife, stuck it in her abdomen, and slit straight up. Blood spurted everywhere, just everywhere. She dropped. And he's yelling, and this crowd, and so I took my guys and boogied out. We just got out of there as quick as we could. And so got him back to the base and did a lot of counseling after that, but they wanted to know what happened to the guy. And I found out, went to the embassy and found out. He was chastised for letting Americans see. That was it. As part of the retirement process, I had to take my records to a person who was going to file a VA claim for me. It's standard procedure. And he is looking over my records, and after a few minutes he looks up and he says, "Did you ever get tested for PTSD?" My first response, "I don't have PTSD. I counsel people with PTSD. I'm a chaplain." And he's going, "I think you need to get tested for PTSD." And I thought, okay, I'll go take the test. I'll prove they're wrong. Everything's fine. And I scored out of 100 possible points, 100 being the worst PTSD you can have, I scored 99. This PTSD thing shows itself in relationships quickly. And that's where you begin to see the damage first. It got to where I was irritable all the time, angry all the time. I resented the fact that people tried to blow me up and couldn't. They shot bullets at me that were pinging off the ground next to me and couldn't kill me. But from a distance, what they did could destroy my relationships. It's unfair to my wife to have to put up with things that she never understood or bought into. There was a time I got mad, really angry, and jumped in the car, and she jumped in after me, and I went tearing down the road. I was bound and determined to scare her to death, and I did. I thought it was pretty normal to go to bed between 10 and 11 and get up between 2 and 3. It began to be that I could not make a decision. I would have flashbacks. All of a sudden, I'm not here. There would be times when I'm looking at the world like the wrong way through a pair of binoculars. It got to the point where I was almost static. I was almost frozen in place. I had no motivation to do anything. PTSD is not something that I'm going to get over. You can't go back and be naive. Once you've lost that, you've lost it. And now I have to come to terms with what this new human being is and what this new human being is going to do. When you come home from deployment, things will hit you that you had no idea of. You go from being Joe high school kid or a college kid to basic training into military service, and you spend your time over there and you dodge bullets and you dodge bombs. But you can't dodge what gets put in your head. The worst thing you can do is pretend it's okay. It isn't. I have come to the conclusion that it takes more guts, more courage to face yourself and what's inside you than it does to face any enemy out there. And it's been a long time, but I'm finally getting to the point where I can actually look forward to what's coming down the road. And I think there's good things ahead for anyone who decides to stop trying to fix themselves and let Christ do it for them. You'll never be able to fight this fight on your own. You'll never be able to fight it without God in Jesus Christ.